So funny that you asked me that question. It sounds like I gave you a copy of my book early because I wrote a whole chapter on this. And I just spelled out the examples of what we're starting to see in America, which is we're starting to see Black children fake their own hate crimes. We're starting to see all of these hoaxes happen where Black Americans pretend that white Americans, there was a young girl who was 8 years old who pretended that 3 white boys held her down in school and cut off her braids and referred to her as racial slurs. This is happening over and over again. There are plenty of examples happening. Victim mentality is really, it's a cancer, right? There's an old expression that my grandfather used to say to me when I was growing up, which is that if you believe that you cannot, you won't. I mean, it's really that simple. If your mindset is that you can't, and there's no way you can do it, you're never even going to try. And that's part of what they want, right? Because what they look for when they see Black Americans, and now we're starting to see that they're pivoting and looking at Latino Americans as well, is a permanent underclass, right? Marxism can only exist if there is an underclass. If you have a bunch of people, a group of people that you keep convincing that, this is happening to you because of some other, if you are poor, it's because of rich people. If you're Black, it's because of white people. If you're women, it's because of men. And so this is what they're doing. They want people to have this curse of a victim mentality because it forces them not to want to dig inside of themselves and try to pursue things and to realize, you know what, I'm not oppressed. I can do this. This takes work ethic. This takes good decision making. This takes staying out of trouble. Instead, they say, you know what, Black America, you're blameless. Even when you are the aggressor, even when you are the oppressor, you're somehow blameless. We saw that in the virtual cleaning of George Floyd's entire past and history. I mean, talk about someone who did harm Black lives. His entire life was spent making Black victims, whether it was via, his drugs, his violences, his armed robberies. They turned him into a saint. There are people that now get baptized where George Floyd died. This is sort of crazy stuff that we're seeing, where people that have done good things, like Frederick Douglass, whose statue was pulled down in America, are being wiped away from history, and people like George Floyd are being elevated. So, victim mentality it's a cancer, and I really do believe that it's killing Black American dreams.
James, when I look, Candace.
The last couple of months, I say to people, I guess I either had a crystal ball or this has all been planned for a very long time, because I've been warning of this. I've written about it. I've given speeches about it in virtually every state in America, warning that in 2020 we would be watching some man die, and the left would use that as a means to try to manipulate Black Americans, and not just a means to manipulate Black Americans, because what you're seeing today, Black Lives Matter, has virtually nothing to do with Black people and nothing to do with preserving Black lives. Of course, if they cared about Black lives, the focus would be on Black communities, and the number one focus would be on Black violence, which is a real issue in America. Instead, they look at something that virtually never happens. And when I say virtually never happens, I mean it happens 9 times a year, which means police almost have a perfect record in terms of arresting violent Black criminals. 9 times a year, it's a very small window of error when Black Americans decide to hand up police officers. Now, we're not condoning that. But to see something like what happened with George Floyd, who was a career criminal, turn into basically Marxism, communism brought to America, them demanding that we change the name, that we wipe history, that we pretend history didn't happen, that we change the year when America even began. You have the 1619 Project with the New York Times. This was really, Black people have always just been a conduit to the left to pursue their more nefarious goals. You can look, and what always surprises me is that people won't even look at their website. They're not even trying to hide what they're after. They routinely attack on their website the people of your family. They tell you essentially that they are Marxists. It reads a lot like Karl Marx and the Communist Manifesto. They think there's something fundamentally wrong and backwards about Western society. It's why they virtually have wiped out Western civilization across college campuses in America, because they want people to hate, to think that there's something fundamentally backwards and wrong about Western civilization. So that's what Black Lives Matter is really all about. It's really just a costume for white liberals and people who wish to see the destruction of Western civilization to wear as they destroy everything that we hold dear in this nation.
Rita.
We will make America great again.